Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have London here.
Finally.
She leaving Merida tomorrow. Says she can't take it. She out of here. Are you out of here tomorrow for real? She gone.
What is he talking about?
She gone, y'all.
Oh my gosh. It is not that I cannot take it.
Well, you can take it. You know what I mean? All the interviews, this stuff, everybody talk about all the good. And she's had some great times, but y'all hadn't seen anybody that's leaving, and I want y'all to see all perspectives. I believe she's going to be returning. And she
that'll be my third time at that point, but go ahead.
I don't know if she believed it or not, but I think she'll be returning back because Merida just has a hold on you and brings you back because it brought you back already.
I know, right?
So how long have you been here so far?
I started my journey in May of last year. And then we had some family things happen. My husband's brother passed away unexpectedly. So I flew back. And then I ended up getting sick. And then I stayed for a minute. And then I came back here. So I've been here now, I think, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months.
About 5 months.
About 5 months.
About 5 months.
Yeah. So,
but you leased this place. You had this place almost 10 months, or almost a year now. Almost.
Yep, I think I'm at 11 months now, so I had one more month and I would have been done. But
Yeah. So yeah.
I gotta head back. So, but I absolutely love my place. Oh my God, the internet is awesome. The landlord was amazing. That was one of my biggest fears coming here because I'd heard so many stories. But my landlord has been so patient with me, and I've done the same. But and I guess it was a spot that he didn't even think I was gonna fall in love with, but I did. I love the simplicity of my place. The last time I left, I kept it, even though I think I was still paying rent for 5 months, and I wasn't here. So I was like, well, I don't know how long it's going to take me to return this time, but it's probably not smart financially to do that again. So that's what made me decide to let it go. But
yeah, so what did you like most about Merida? I'm sure you had some good moments, some good experiences. Then we'll go into some of the cons, the things that surprised you or whatever. What do you like? What do you like about the place, if anything? And she's gonna keep it real.
I'm trying to say it nicely. So at first, when I came down here, I'll say the 5 top things that I absolutely loved about Merida was I liked the simplicity of Merida. I liked that I had so many options that I just could not get in the States simply because either it was too expensive, the crime rate's too high, there is not a good quality of life, the food is different, the stress level's different. So it was a lot of things that I got from Merida my first, walk of being here. Even the fruit. Okay, so let me add in that I'm getting ready to leave right before the good fruit comes out. So there were like a lot of tropical fruits that I had never had before. It's tropical to me. Instead of it being like an apple, orange, and grapes, it was like Mexican limes, I think they're called. I hope that's what they're called. But like the dragon fruit, the sour sop, I think that's what it's called. Don't hold me to it. But just stuff like that I had never tried until I arrived here and absolutely fell in love with that. And Jamaica is I'm in love with some Jamaica. If y'all could see how many bags of Jamaica I have on my counter right now to take back home, it is not a joke.
You take it all, you got bags laid out on the counter.
It's not a joke. I love Jamaica. It's amazing. But yeah, I would say those are the things. Being able to have a housekeeper. I love Rappi. Being able to Uber, because in the state it's a hustle and bustle, and you're always driving, so it feels good to let someone else drive me places. And walking my dog, like I don't have to say like, okay, it's 6 o'clock, I can't, it's a wrap. No, I could still go. It could be 8, 9 o'clock, and I can go walk her, and I'm not concerned. I'm unbothered by the things that I would be bothered by in the States. So of course, I'm not excited to have to put back on this thick armor of being extra careful. I mean, you have to be careful wherever you go, but Merida just hits differently when it comes to safety. So,
Anything surprised you the most? Coming from the United States, all the bad stuff you hear about Mexico. Any surprises?
It's lies. They lied to us, y'all. I was just telling my son today, I was like, man, if I knew the things I knew now, there is no way I would have I don't even know if I would have had him in the States, like delivered him there with the amount of information that I know now down to the healthcare system. It hits different. I've never had my doctor call me the same day to check on me or, have them come to my house and do an x-ray or come to my house and draw blood or whatever the case may be. And I get the results the same day. It just it blew my mind, and the cost. So I will say I was able to take care of myself mentally and physically while being here. Things that, you hustle and bustle of the States, it's just that stuff gets pushed to the wayside, and it's so much red tape to even get to see a doctor, and so we're not even we're going through, okay, insurance. Then you got to, make an appointment to see the doctor. And then we have to make sure the doctor accepts your insurance. And then it's the list doesn't stop. And then even then, they're very surface with the care. Whereas here, it was we're ordering this test, this test, this test, this test. We're going to get to the bottom of this. And no, I'm not just going to give you a pill. No, we need to figure out what is causing the issue. What is the heart of the problem? I can remember him telling me that I was borderline diabetic. Typically, from what I've been doing my research on, the first thing they want to do is put you on something or whatever. He was like, I'm going to get you a nutritionist. You need to start working out. We need to work on your stress levels, just check on your cortisone, see what's going on. Those are things that I had never, I guess, experienced, was someone just really seeing me. So that was, and then the cost of it was I don't even know. In the States, I feel like an x-ray is ridiculous. Here, I think I pay I don't know, $75. And they came to my house. I was like, what? But yeah, just the level of care and concern is so different. So that part I will miss 110%. So
Awesome. Negatives, cons. What did you not like? Go, let them have it.
Okay, so I will say my first con is, and it's kind of my fault because I need to learn. The first con for me is not knowing the language. They are very patient. They will not give you a hard time. They will work with you through this thing. But it can be a little frustrating sometimes when it's just simple things that you need, and quite naturally for me, I just feel like I should just know it. And when I don't, it can get a little frustrating, but that's just a me thing. So that for me was a small con. Another con was, this is going to sound so bad. You know, how do I
go with it? Don't hold back. Don't filter.
I don't like the food. That was my other one. So yeah, I'm from the South. I love seasonings, and that for me was missing, and I don't like cilantro. So, but I brought a lot of seasonings back from the States, so I was able to cook here at a fraction of the cost. So it was even though it was a negative with how I felt about how the food tastes, I was able to still cook and make what I wanted to make and it not break the bank. So in that way, it kind of balanced itself out. But yeah, the food was given no. It was just, it was given a strong no. I just had a friend of mine, we went out to eat yesterday, and she said, I've never seen you complete. She said, I've never seen you complete a meal. And I thought to myself, you know what? Because I'm queen of taste and I eat with my eyes, but being in Merida, I'm trying to learn. You know what I'm saying? To be nope, let's just try it. Let's just see what we think. So, but that's a con. Let me see. The other con is bugs. But I will say I have not had a bug issue because I literally get my place fumigated every 2 months. So
bugs every 2 months or every month?
Horatia's probably gonna see this and be like, ma'am, it's every month. Okay. But I think it's like every month and a half, essentially. But anyway, I'm trying to be nice with 2 months, but he's right. So, the bugs, for me, mainly it's like the mosquitoes when I'm walking, or like I'll see like the biggest. Recently, I saw the biggest spider when I was walking my dog, and I like wrapped her up, and was like, "Oh my gosh," because I have never seen a spider that big in front of me, like not in a cage, or on TV. So that's another con. Let me see. What's
But the
another
bug
one?
issue, me hop back to that. So for those of y'all that are really concerned about it, like she said, she have the exterminator folk come by a little more often than most, but she sees 0 bugs
Not one
in her house.
Not an ant.
No ants.
Not a fly. Not a roach. Not a nothing.
Nada.
Nothing. Nothing. And I thank God for that. But yeah, I haven't, not even mosquitoes, none of that. And that was like one of my biggest worries because I was, seeing videos, people were talking about all the bug issues. And I'm like, I don't do bugs. But, I don't know. I just was like, well, I'm going to try anyway and see what happens. But it worked out perfectly with that. Another con is not understanding things that you feel like should be simple. Like, for instance, when I moved into my place, I was like, this particular night, I was like, I'm going to cook for the first time. And I got everything started, had everything sauteed, ready to go, sitting on the stove, and the stove doesn't work. Like, what is going on? Like, I mean, literally, New York strip steaks ready. I got corn ready. I got broccoli. I got the garlic. I got it going, and the stove doesn't work. Like, and this is a new place, like a place that at this point I think it'd been up like maybe 8 months. And I was like, what is going on? Like, I could not figure out the stove. Something so simple. I'm gonna tell y'all why it's simple. So I reached out to the landlord. He's awesome. He gets an what they call engineer to come out and look. Cortez came by and looked and figured it out like this and was like, oh, it's an induction stove. I was like, what? And he was like, you have the wrong pots and pans. So I had to go buy the pots and pans to go with the stove. So that was a con for me because I'm used to just being able to cook, and it was just given no, and it was like a 2-day process trying to find it was a mess. So that was another con. Another one is, I would say, I like the Ubers, but sometimes they can be a little dirty and they drive crazy. And yeah, that's another one that's for me. It's kind of like a con. I mean, I love that they drive for me, thank you, but sometimes they're like, you're in the Uber and you're hoping that it makes it from point A to point B. Speaking of that, I had that happen. We were in an Uber and went to cross the bridge, and the car just cut out. And I was like, so what do we do? So he had to call someone else to come and get us. It was given no. They took care of us, but I was like, because these cars here is different. They go through a lot. Let me show them grace, because these cars here go through a lot. They got like these huge, I don't even call them speed bumps. I don't know what you call those bumper bumps, because them things are atrocious. So I could only imagine what my car would sound like, driving over the stuff that you got to drive over here. But yeah, that's a con for me. What's another con? What's become a con for me is the price of things. So that's just recently become a con for me, just being able, let me be clear. Yes, it's cheaper than the States in a lot of ways. Okay. However, I had a different perspective of what affordable looks like. And let me, in my mind, you know what I'm saying? So I'm finding now that it's starting to be close to or similar to the same price, depending on how you do it. Like, for instance, going to Costco and getting seafood is expensive, but you can go and get the same seafood from a fisherman fresh and it not be so expensive. So it's almost like with Merida, I keep finding myself in this conversation. It's a con, but then like there's another option to make it a pro. So I guess you have that part.
Now you kind of high maintenance though, little bougie.
What? It's the lies for me. What? I don't know what he's talking about. Really?
You got hot. Your taste is a little bit more exquisite than many. I won't say most, but many. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm there.
Because we went to a few restaurants, and she was like, Cortez, I'm not going to sit down in them chairs with you. I am not eating in that establishment. No. That place looked like this.
That is so true. And he's like, don't pay attention to that. I'm like, I'm about to eat in here.
Yeah, just don't look over there. Just put your back over there and just look out their way.
It was a no. Let me tell you, it was the same thing when I went house hunting. He was like, don't pay attention to the dead bugs. Don't pay attention to don't pay attention to the spots on the couch. Don't pay attention to the stains in the bed. Just focus on the bones. I'm like, I can't. So it was like literally we would walk in and he would know right away. He'd be like, she don't even want this. You know, and I would just instantly like see a bug. It was like squirrel. Like I would just, you don't want to see the, nope. I am A-okay. Because in my mind, I'm like, if I see these bugs have families. So I just don't see the families, but they're somewhere around here, you know. So I'm like, nope, not happening. One house he showed me. You remember that apartment? The floor looked like it was moving. There was so many ants.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was like, it looked like the floor was moving. I was like, yep, this is a no. And he was like, oh, it's okay. And I think the guy said, well, it's been raining.
Yeah.
But you can, I was like,
And for me, it was like the exterminator. It was a fumigation guy will resolve that. Because a lot of times these places would be sitting empty for like 5 months or 3 months and stuff like that. And like you said, it was raining, so the bugs, you know, but, you know, she resolved that issue by having fumigation guy come out. Because that was an issue for her. Because all of y'all each of you might have different issues and things you don't want to deal with, you know. And she was able to fix it. So she saw bugs before she moved in. She was like, "Nah, it ain't gonna work."
It's a no. It was a no. I don't even want to work through it. It was a no. Like, you want to go upstairs and see? No.
No,
it's okay. So that for me was a con. Let me see. I feel like I need to go into getting my toes and nails done, but I don't know.
Go ahead. Cause I saw somebody post something on Facebook about that, so might as well get it out there.
Okay.
So it seems like it's an issue. It is an
Don't
issue.
come for me, you guys. I'm just being honest and raw in what my experience looks like. Now, let me be clear. I'm not asking for perfection in Merida. This is just my con. And my health is pretty big for me, you know. But anyway, so I would come and like, you know, get my toes done, normal stuff. And I'm like, oh, the price. It was the price for me because back in the States, like a petty is like, I don't know, $45. So for me, I'm like, $15. That's it, you know.
How much?
15.
Yeah, oof.
$15, you know. Wow. So I'm like, that's it, you know. And so I went in and I got my toes done. And the first thing I noticed was they used scissors and not toenail clippers. And I was like, okay, this is different. And then in the midst of that, I got cut with those scissors, you know, snip. And I look and I'm like bleeding and I'm like, okay. And she's like, oh, you know, however they say it in their language, it's fine. And I was like, okay, you know, I'm thinking it's just a mistake. It's cool, no worries. And so she's clipping and doing her thing. And then it happens on my other big toe. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, and again, we have that. I don't speak Spanish well enough to say, okay, like, you started to hurt me now. So it started doing the same exact thing. So anyway, she finishes up doing everything. She packs the sides of my toes where the cuts are. I know it's a little bit much, but I gotta explain it this way, with cotton. And she puts some stuff on it, sticking the sides. Okay, I'm thinking I'm gonna be good. So we're on like day 3 and my toe is looking like the clumps. Okay. I'm like, something's wrong with my toe. So my other toe was the same, and they were both sensitive. And I'm like, something's not right. So I go back to her again. She calls somebody, has somebody tell me over the phone that something's wrong with my toe in English, and I'm thinking to myself, I know something wrong with my toe. Like it wasn't wrong with my toes until I came to you, and I'm trying to figure out what I need to do about my toes. So anyway, she was like telling me what they were gonna do, this, that, and the third. That did not work. So then I ended up going to see a podiatrist because I do the most. And he checks my toes and everything. He explained it to me where basically when she was clipping my toenails and I jumped like the side of your toenail, like here's your toenail, and then like on the side. When she was cutting that side, I jumped because she cut me and she backed up and just kind of left the nail there on the inside of the skin. So that was causing it to be inflamed. And it was the same thing on my other foot. So he removed that or whatever. And he was like, but you're good. No worries. He gave me, okay. He has become my person to go to get my petties. I don't know if this is what he does, but he does it, when I just made him into my nail person. So I go in there and he gets me, I go probably like every 2 weeks now, and he go in there and he cuts my toenails the right way. He does a massage.
Massage your feet?
Yes, he does the whole shebang. He has like a machine that like vibrates at the bottom of your feet. He says to help with blood flow. Like it's a whole like thing. Okay, it's like I want to say I don't know how you say it in 400 pesos.
Wow,
that's how much it costs.
Dang.
But he does an amazing job. When I say takes care of your feet, takes care of your feet. I mean, he like really educated me on clipping the toenails. What is it supposed to look like? Don't wear toenail polish longer than 10 days because it like your toenails have to breathe. It's like a whole thing of things. And I just grew up putting toenail polish on. When it starts shipping, you take it off, or if you don't like the color. So, but yeah, that I'm gonna miss. I'm gonna miss it a whole lot. Because in the States, I feel like podiatrists, they don't like give you pedicures. Just saying. But I mean, anything you could think of when you go get your toes done, he does that and more. So that was awesome. But he did explain to me that sterilization and the nail places is completely different than what he does. He like showed me like, and it's similar to what I see in the States, like this microwave looking thing. You put everything in there to like sanitize it or whatever. He was like, did you see one of these? I was like, no. She just kind of sprayed the stuff with, it was like a little water bottle and I could smell it. It smelled like it was alcohol. It didn't say alcohol, but it smelled like it was alcohol. And she would just spray the scissors, and that was it. And he was like, no, that's never, basically opens you up to a lot of infections. So, or issues, because technically it's not clean unless you do those extra steps that he spoke of and utilizing a different product. So, but yeah, that was my con.
Wow.
But my toes are fine now. Thank God for that. They are back to normal. No weirdness. So that definitely was a con. Another con. When I came down here the last time, I was like, okay, I'm gonna like do this whole rock my own, do this natural walk with my own hair and blah blah blah, right? But what I didn't know was that the water here is different. Like, I don't know, my hair and the water just don't get along. I bought the filter to like go on the shower head and things like that. But they don't even last long because there's so many minerals and buildup. So that was definitely a con for me trying to rock my natural. But now I just, you know how we do. We'll just say, you know how we do. So I'm good now. But when I was trying to do it my own, it was like washing every 5 days, was drying out. It was just like giving struggle. So it was a no. So that was a con for me. I don't really have. I would say like another con. I miss central air.
So the air conditioning unit in each room, that's a con for you.
Yeah, I love them, but I don't love the bill. See, when you're in the States, as you know, you have your AC unit on your house. You can kind of set it at a temperature. Like if I wanted to stay, say 72, it kicks on, kicks off, it does its thing, right? No, that's not gonna happen here. So that was for me a con because I find that like sometimes it's a little warm, and then it's like, well, I'm just gonna go to sleep and sleep with this on all night because even though it has a timer, I don't know what time it's gonna cool off. So I just know if I'm too hot, it wakes me up. So that for me is a con. But again, it can be worked through. You can just leave it on. So now the bill is not as high. I don't know if I want to say that because my bill was giving struggle one month. I was like, what? But I say this. There are ways around everything. You don't have to run it like that. You can get fans. You can open up windows. So you don't, it was just a con for me because I do like central air. I do, and I didn't realize how much I liked it until I got here. But it's not a con that's big enough for me to be like, you know what, deuces Merida. No, it's not that kind of con, but it definitely is one that I'm like, it's giving a little struggle. It's giving a little struggle. I think that's pretty much. Oh, another con. The way it looks.
I'm glad you bringing this up. Go ahead. How she? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm assuming you're talking about the way the city looks when you first set eyes.
Yeah,
on
outside,
here. When you step
right
out
now.
here, you expecting it grand, pretty. Go ahead. I'll let her rip.
So, okay, why Merida has places that I feel like are absolutely beautiful, like the malls and City 32 is my favorite place to go to. But just the outside part and like when I'm walking my dog, there's like trash or it's just looking like, rough. Where I'm picking her up because I'm like, I don't know what's in there and I don't want it to come out and like snatch her up. Like it looks like that, but I mean, we have pros and cons again. So even though the outside looks like that, because I guess for me, I'm just guessing because it's underdeveloped in certain areas, right? Because you go back to the States and everything is cookie cutter, but here it's like literally like right across the street there's like, I think this is a mansion right across from me, but right next to that it's like it looks like a jungle, you can't see past anything. It just looks like a straight up jungle. So that's that was one thing that bothered me the first time I came down, but I kind of like threw it in the back of my head and was like, you know what, that's not big enough for you to not give Merida a chance. So
has it grown on you? Because I always say to folks that sometimes as time go by, you get used to it. It doesn't become. Now, some things are definitely an eyesore, but the oldness, the old buildings, the paint rusting off, a lot of it due to the humidity and the heat on the buildings. Has some of it grown on you to a point where you're like, you know what? Now that I've been here a while, it doesn't look that bad.
Yes and no. Only the trash bothers me now. But everything else I can get past. It's just the trash for me. I'm just like really,
And this is a wealthy area that you're in, Montebello. I mean, like there's a mansion right across the street,
and one next to it, next door to me too. There's another one on the corner that lasts forever.
Wow.
And then there's another one on the next corner, as well. So yeah, it's they're like right, like in the same vicinity, really close, but like literally, I can go take my dog out right now and walk maybe 5 steps and there's trash. So it's just the trash.
If can anybody give? I would like a little more insight if any locals are watching. Because like she said, there are some the oldness of the buildings and stuff like that. That's understandable.
Yeah.
But why
Their
is it that
last.
in certain areas, like a wealthy part of town, and not you see it more often in other sides that are not as affluent. Why is it just okay for trash just to stack up, build up, tires, mattresses, everything just thrown? I mean,
old toilets,
just right there in the middle of the way.
Yeah.
Why is that an issue? I mean, why is that a thing? Do they not? Well, I'm not going to say do not. if anybody can provide any insight, I really would like to know that, because that can be an issue depending on some of the areas and where you're at.
Right.
Anything.
Yeah, that was the other one. Now, see, I want to be nice to Merida in the way of understanding that it is going to be different. So we got that part. It's not going to be the same as the States. However, for a person that's all that they know, it can be a little, and it's not like, well, shoot, if that's the case, then don't come here. It's not that. It's just still going to be kind of a shock to some people, and it can kind of make you say, wait a minute. But if you really go through and go back to your why, or, even down to my toenail issues, it still came out, I gained an amazing person that takes really good care of my feet when it comes to my petty now. So, it's almost like Merida has its quirks of things that are cons, but for some odd reason, I'm even noticing, speaking about it, there's a way to make that con into a pro because they have other options.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, it's trash, but I don't have to worry about anybody shooting at me or snatching me up or, nothing crazy. Like, I don't have to worry about that stuff. The aesthetics is the issue, but, it's like I didn't like the houses, paint was spilled, all that stuff. But once I started to understand, okay, but hey, the paint is spilling, but hey, but their houses last here forever, like for generations. So, it is what it is. I mean, in the States, you could build a brand new house that's really made out of paper. It looks nice on the outside, but it's falling apart, if a tornado hits or if a storm hits, of any type. So I could definitely say here, they make stuff to last, which is different.
Which is different.
Mm-hmm.
You brought up your why, knowing your why. What was your reason for, not necessarily moving to Merida, but what was your why and reason for wanting to move abroad or check things out from elsewhere?
So let's see. My biggest reason was I wanted to go somewhere where I had a better quality of life opportunity. Where I had an opportunity to try new foods, build new relationships, to have adventure, and to be safe, So Merida checked off the boxes it was supposed to. So I'm not going to say it didn't give what it was supposed to give, because it did, right? Essentially, it's just that, how can I say this? The only part that I was still struggling with was how slow it was or is. I feel like if you're a person that's really introverted, it probably works for you to be by yourself, and it moves this slow. Or if you're just a person it just works for you. But for me, I've learned that I do better if I have someone with me. And originally that's the way it was supposed to go anyway. But of course, life happened and it just ended up being me. But it was okay because it was a spiritual walk that needed to happen. So I'm not upset about that at all. But yeah, I will say it checked off the boxes that it was supposed to. It's just for me right now. He knows it's not just a, I got to get up out of here situation. It's more of a, I got stuff to do, But it's also to, I guess he's being honest in that part too, because I feel like I can say I love Merida. I really like Merida. Okay, so let me be clear. I like Merida, but I do want to look into other places to see what other places have to offer. It was definitely not a soft landing for me when I got here. Okay, the first time. Okay, so I still came back again, super positive and ready to go. But I think that for me, in some ways, I didn't show Merida grace. And I will say, with it being as slow as it is probably the main one. And just understanding that it is brand spanking new, everything. I mean, I'm a person that feels like I should know, and you're gonna get here and just learn real quick. You don't know, and that's kind of tough. So I guess it just depends on how you are as a person. But for me, I have things that I have to do, that I have to, I run a business. So it's like, and then other businesses I'm involved in. So I have to go back and handle things. Um, I'm probably gonna come back.
Yeah, she coming back. She coming back. She coming
I'm
back.
probably gonna come back. But yeah, I definitely want to look into some other places too. I could see this being like my main, but me for now. Be clear for now. But I definitely want to look into some other places. I do have my eyes on Ghana. So right now between that and Thailand. So we shall see. I want to make trips there very soon. Probably not go all in like I did here. I was like, I gotta get my residency. I got like I did everything. Like this is gonna be my forever home. And it's good that I did get those things done, but I didn't show Merida grace enough to say, okay, but what will it look like for me when I'm living here? This is one thing to see it on the computer, you know, and things like that, but it's another thing to actually live in it. And when you live in it, it's a whole different ballgame. So
I want to emphasize she's not giving up. She said, "Hey, I'm gonna go check out some other places." Merida is not the type of speed that I'm looking for, you know. And again, everybody is different. That's why it's important for you to understand and know who you are as a person and what you want. And even if you think you know what you want, you get somewhere and turn out, this ain't what I want. It's okay to change your mind. You know, be flexible and be willing enough to go out and check some other things out. That's exactly what she's doing. You know what I mean? You got to find a perfect place for you, the right place. You know, right now I have children living with me. 5 years from now, when they go, that might change. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go somewhere else. You know what I mean? So so you're going to be checking out other places. What do you do to make money? You know, you be able to bounce around and check things out. What do you do?
So I own my own trucking company, and then I also flip homes. So that's majority of my money, and how I make money. So
So you know, so all right. You talk about, man, Merida looks this way. I want these bugs all up on me. But you got a trucking company.
yeah, I
What
do.
do you do? How does that look?
So what it looks like is you own me. But yeah, so basically it's a trucking company where I run freight. And I have drivers that do loads. But I don't have semis. I do have 26-foot box trucks. And yeah, I am my own dispatcher, so I book my own loads. It saves me money, and time. So yeah, that is what I do. It's put me in a position to be able to move around. So like, as long as I have really good internet, I'm good. I can book my loads from anywhere. I can book my loads on my phone. So I did find that, you know, when it was time for me to make a move, I was like, well, how am I going to do this? And it was so easy. It was way more easier than I thought it was going to be. As long as you have good drivers. Those are the things. That's the catch. As long as you have good, solid drivers, and you have good trucks, you're good to go. The trucks are in shape. You don't have any issues with that. I mean, they're going to be wear and tear, some things you can't avoid, but through and through, that is what I do.
So when you say move freight,
Mm-hmm.
what does that mean? You pick up stuff from other companies? How does that work? For those who don't understand.
So for me, I can use the DAP board to move freight if I would like to.
What is that?
So the DAP board is just a load board where there's different pallets, or if somebody's moving tires or whatever. A lot of times you don't even know what's back there because it's on pallets. But sometimes you can see clearly those are tires, or clearly that's furniture. But you're moving, it's like logistics. You're moving freight, which is like, you know, household items, household goods, anything. It could be appliances, washer, dryer. It could be anything. You're moving them in this truck and you're delivering to wherever they need to go. That's what the DAP board looks like typically. But I do Amazon Relay, which I move freight for Amazon. So basically, you pick up the freight from the Amazon warehouse, and then you're going to take it to post offices. The trucks that I have, they only hold 12 pallets. But with that, though, depending on the load you book, it may have 3 stops, 2 stops. Your first stop is always going to be your pickup, and then so forth. But your end stop is typically a post office, and you just drop the pallet off and you just go on to your next stop. And that's pretty much that's what it looks like. And I'm pretty sure everybody's shopped on Amazon, so it's all of that stuff that people order on a pallet or in a Gaylord.
Wow.
So that's what I do.
So you okay? All right. I mean, this is interesting. So all right. I like that. So I know you said you have drivers as well, but you also, when you were in the States before coming here, you would go
I
in
was
this
doing
truck.
it. Yes, a person that I have never driven a truck a day in my life.
Dang.
Let me tell you, I need to explain the sizes. So I drive a Camaro, very tiny, doesn't have any room. My son is 16, so it works. But these trucks are huge and they don't even have like rearview mirrors. That was my biggest thing when I first jumped in the truck and I couldn't see directly behind me because there's a box, box truck. Then I was like, okay, this is given no. But I'm just going to say God grabbed my hand in that moment and was like, and let's talk about the God grabbed my hand. Because I can remember when we pulled up to get my first truck, I didn't know anything about, again, driving trucks. I hop in the truck. I don't know how any of this stuff works. I'm just like, Lord, I hope these people don't notice that I don't know what I'm doing before I pull out with this truck. So I'm just like, So I'm like faking it to make it. I get a block away. I pull over and my husband's behind me in his truck. And I'm like, can we pray? Because I'm like, everything else up until now, you think the paperwork is all, I didn't got past that. But what I didn't think about was, girl, you don't know how to drive this truck? Like, you don't know what you're doing. But God showed me grace in that moment, and he literally took the wheel.
Wow.
And I made it. And I did it by myself for like a year and a half. And then from there, I was like, okay, I need to start hiring people so that I can expand my business. And then once I did that, then I was able to, use my time to do other things. But yeah, it's so simple. I cannot stress enough. If there's anyone that's interested in that business, please don't hesitate to contact. But it's super simple to do. And in those moments, I will definitely say that you can do anything you put your mind to. I am not that girl, okay? Not even a little bit. I'm not that girl, but I became that girl, okay?
Wow.
So, I mean, I am not the putting on, Tim boots or putting on work boots and, putting on my vest. It was just like, it was a whole different, lane for me. But you really can do anything you put your mind to, and it's a business, and it's a business that in an industry that I absolutely love being a part of.
So if somebody wanted to get into this, learn this, male or female, is it expensive to get into it?
It is not. That's another
Really?
thing. Yeah, it's that one business
When
that
you talk
like
about getting a truck, I'm thinking you have $100,000 for a truck or something.
no, I lease my trucks. I don't own them. I did not buy them. Ryder takes care of all my PMI. They take care of oil changes, anything that's normal wear and tear they take care of as well. But they make sure they keep me in order as far as, making sure that the truck is, there's like okay, let me explain this too. There's like a whole different lane with, making sure your truck is, how can I say it? in in working order to be able to do loads. They take care of all of that, So when that time comes and you get audited, you're good through and through. I mean, the ELD is built into the truck, which is the electronic log device. So they just take care of everything. You just pay the bill. Wow. Essentially. But yeah, I mean, you can go either way with it. It's just what you prefer. I prefer it this way. It works good for me. I do have friends in this industry that own their own trucks. It just really just depends on what you want to do. But you want to just get into it. You don't have the funds, or you don't want to invest the funds because you don't know if this is something that you really want to do. I would definitely say start out by renting your truck. If you find that it's something that you want to stick to, then start leasing your truck because you'll get a better rate if you lease it. Also, if you do Amazon Relay, you get a discounted rate anyway. If you do you move their freight, which is pretty awesome. So,
wow.
But yeah.
And it can kind of 30,000 a year, 50,000 a year, they can do this and travel and all of that. Pretty good money to earn.
Yeah, so I will say my first year, me driving by myself, I had pulled up my numbers. You know, I like to tell truth, shame devil. But I believe, let me see. Hold on.
I know
I'm
she got to
sorry,
go.
y'all.
She got deadlines to meet, and I'm gonna get out of her hair
Sorry,
so she can pack
y'all.
up.
I'm finna try to find this number for you guys. Let me see.
So y'all hear this? Y'all can do this. Um, and I know she told me briefly. You know, she got a course. She put that's up. I'm gonna put a link at the bottom of the screen. So if y'all are interested in learning how to do this, go to the website that's on the screen. I got it in the description as well. And you know, hit her up. I mean, learn this skill set. And I'm assuming it doesn't take a long time. I mean, you don't have to wait 5 years to pack up and be moving. You can work this remotely. So, you know, if you got a plan to be living abroad for a year from now, this is something you can start and get the foundation going. So I'm gonna shut up.
Okay, so sorry, you guys. So, like my first year, which I know this probably isn't going to sound like a lot to some people, and that's okay. But my first year being in this industry, not knowing my front from my back, I'm just saying. So my number is 127,000, and that's what I made my first year. Now, granted, you're gonna have your overhead that comes out of that, so it ended up being like I think 70 something thousand that I made my first year. But that was still awesome because I'm not a work Monday through Sunday person. So I literally would work 5 days, maybe 6 days a week sometimes, but typically 5 days a week. And I didn't do long loads. So I don't do over the road either. So I literally like round trip, my load might take 4 hours, you know, and I'm back home in the bed.
Damn.
So it's just, that was my life when I did do it. So just being strategic with my loads, what they pay, and my time is precious. So making it make sense, you know. So, yep.
I love it. I love it.
Thank
I
you.
love it. Final question, any words of advice for anybody thinking about making a move, any words of wisdom, and then we'll be done.
Okay. Really? Words of wisdom. Really? Let's see.
If you don't have none, that's
I
cool
really
too.
don't. Like I'm like, I really don't. I'm trying to think, and it's not coming to me.
I'll summarize it up. You know, based on what she discussed today. You know, be real with yourself and be honest with yourself, and don't feel like you have to stick around or make it work because everybody else is having success making it work here. You know, you got to find the place that's going to be right for you, and you're very comfortable, and your success may be somewhere else. For some, it may be a cooler environment. For others, it may be a place that's more modern. For somebody else, it might be a place where English is spoken more. You got to do you and find you. So don't hesitate. I'm happy to see that she's going out to explore other options.
Yeah.
Although I think she'll be back, but the only way to know is to go out there and see what's out there. So thank you, London. I
want to say to show yourself grace, because I'm gonna tell you, I came here with a plan that I didn't know if Merida was gonna be my forever home. I just knew that it was my right now. So like do keep that in mind. It's okay if you get here and you're like, that's all right. It's okay because it's something brand new, and you gotta be patient with yourself through your walk and not have such high expectations of I didn't done this, because I know this was me the first walk. I was like, man, I didn't done this. I didn't came out and invested all this time and all this money, and it's not giving what I thought it was gonna give my first time. But I was willing to say, you know what, let's try it again, because this and this didn't happen the first time. So he's right about making all these plans to let me buy a house, let me buy a car. I would definitely say just hold on and be still and let yourself immerse in everything else first, and see how you feel with that. And then if you want to start adding other stuff on, great, but just see first if it's the place for you.
Awesome. All right. Gotta go. Thank y'all for watching. MoveAbroadandTry.com.